What's going on, guys? It's Nick here, back in the video. It's Monday, so it's time for the Mock Draft Monday. Last week we did the 9 pick, in the live stream we did the 7 pick, so we're gonna do the 5 pick this week, and we're gonna do Sleeper. I try and alternate between Sleeper and Fantasy Pros. We're also doing half PPR this week. We did full PPR last week, and we're gonna do the most common format: 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex spot. Let us resume the draft, and we will see how things work out. Again, we're starting from the 5 pick, so the vast majority of the time you're gonna have McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb. They're going to be off the boards. You are basically seeing, honestly, it's up to you whether you want to go with a hero build or you want to start off with a wide receiver. My recommendation is typically starting off with a hero build, just in the off chance that you truly just can't get that running back after that. You don't want to dig yourself too much of a hole with how good the wide receiver value is in the middle and later rounds this season. And when you're at the 5 pick, it's a pretty nice spot to be in, because if you see McCaffrey, Hill, and Lamb go, even if this team had taken, the team 3 took Amon-Ra St. Brown, even if they had taken Breece Hall or Bijan, well, I just get the other one and it works out for me there. So I think that's kind of how you want to be starting off this season. But you know what? If it happened that, Bijan or Breece Hall also weren't there and you had to go Tyreek Hill or CeeDee Lamb, you're not going to lose your league because of that. They're going to be very good picks. So I'm going to take Bijan with this pick, and we're going to start off with a hero build. Again, if you prefer Breece Hall, go for it. I'm not going to debate you on Breece Hall versus Bijan. I did post a running back video yesterday, so if you want a full breakdown of top 36 running backs, I have that. It's like a 55-minute video for you. But yeah, I have Bijan first. So make that pick. Who do we like now? After we go, we see Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, Gibbs, Saquon, and Kyren Williams go off the board. Josh Allen is the only quarterback, and we've got a decent amount of wide receivers: Jefferson, Chase, A.J. Brown, Marvin Harrison Jr., Garrett Wilson, Adams, London, and Puka all off the board. A tight end? No. We're not going to take any of these tight ends. We obviously want one of the top, it's top 8 or 9 tight ends this season. We're not going to take them in round 2. Quarterback, also not going to be taking quarterback in round 2. Running back, top options are Travis Etienne, Devon Achane, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Pacheco. All great picks. I kind of hope I can get one of them maybe in this next round. I don't know that I want any of them this early. I do have Henry at 206, and that is a strong pick. And Henry I do have as a top projected player. If we go over to wide receiver, Ayuk and Olave. So I do have Olave, then Henry, then Ayuk. So decision time, right? Decision time for us. Do we want to start off Bijan, Derrick Henry, and then completely abandon the running back position for a while? Or would we rather start off Bijan, grab Chris Olave, hope that one of Etienne, Achane, Henry, Jacobs, Pacheco makes it to us at our next pick, which I think can happen. And honestly, if it doesn't happen and they all go, I'm going to get a pretty sweet wide receiver. Okay, hear me out on this one. I almost want to see if the computer will let us do a robust build. I have not in a single mock draft this season done a true robust RB build where we took 3 running backs in a row. And I'm just curious. I'm curious how it'll look if we do get to that spot. And if I take Derrick Henry, there's a chance that they don't take 4 running backs. I think they probably will, in which case if they do, again, we're going to get a really strong wide receiver. But I almost want to chance that instead of being okay, if they take that, we'll have Bijan, Olave, and Ayuk, which would be sick. It'd be a sweet start as well. Let's see what happens. Let's take Derrick Henry and see. They go Achane, Laporta, Kelsey, Olave, Jacobs, Ayuk, Etienne, Evans. Okay. So, Pacheco's still there. If I went to the rankings, Pacheco is top because it would have been Ayuk. I think we got to try it. We'll see how the team works out and if we even like it. It's probably a little risky if you're in one league, right? One redraft league, which I don't recommend. I recommend, instead of putting a ton of money into one, put that exact same money into 2 maybe, and then do drafts on Underdog. But If you are not evening out your exposures and you're just going all in on one team, maybe it's a little bit too risky, but I feel like we have to just try it. Like we have literally not tried it yet at all this season. That's what Mock Draft Mondays are for. It's for testing these things out. Let's do it. All right. How's the team going to work out? Bijan Robinson, Derrick Henry, Isaiah Pacheco. 3 running backs with a locked-in role. 3 running backs that I think can be running back ones. If I end up this season with 3 running back ones, it's not going to matter what else I have at the wide receiver position. Now, unfortunately, the rest of this draft is just holding strong, right? We've got Team 7 that has Chase, Allen, Diggs, Kupp. We've got Team 9 that has Brown, London, Nico, Waddle. Hopefully they realize that they have been drafting their bench players. At least the Team 9 did. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams right now. We're in like the late 4th round. They only have 1 running back. So we have a very different build, and we basically have a build that's like, you know what? If running back crushes this season, I'm running laps over all of you. What's unfortunate is we wanted those teams to grab running back because we're obviously not grabbing a running back at this pick. James Cook would be a very strong pick here. James Cook, Mixon, Ken Walker. And that is one thing we need to keep in mind, being like, okay, it didn't happen here. Maybe maybe it would have been very lucky. Like if we would have taken Nico probably at that spot. It would have probably been lucky being like, oh, only 1 running back got taken. I would imagine more often running backs go there, but keep that in the back of our mind that like Cook, Mixon, Ken Walker, honestly Cook and Mixon probably more, would have been really strong picks at this pick, but we literally cannot take them right now. Value-wise, you just can't do it. So who can we take, though? At wide receiver, honestly, though, yeah, if we go by my rankings, it wouldn't say to go with James Cook or to go with Joe Mixon. It would say that Michael Pittman Jr. is a phenomenal pick at this spot. So it's still working out for us. I do want to just check quarterback. We have Stroud and Richardson. Neither one of them grade out as the pick here. If we go to tight end, Andrews, Kincaid, neither one of them also grade out as the pick. The pick is Pittman. Okay. This is working out nicely. After we go, Stroud, Ken Walker, Flowers, Kincaid, Cook, Mixon, Pickens, Dell. Oof, that stinks. We don't want to Dell with that pick. Okay. Mark Andrews, heavy consideration for us at this spot. Quarterback, Anthony Richardson, heavy consideration for us at this spot. Wide receiver. They were good picks, right? And I think Higgins will probably end up being my top projected player. It's very unfortunate, though, because like Tank Dell I have projected for 181.9 points. T. Higgins, 171.9. It's a 10-point drop, that team taking Tank Dell over Higgins. Higgins, I do have as the top wide receiver in the projections. Have him at 503, so we're getting slight value here. But I have both Mark Andrews and Anthony Richardson at 408 and 409, so I think it benefits our team more. I've also said many times, I want a top, like, I think it's 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I want a top 7 tight end this season. I just do. I want a top 7 tight end, ending with George Kittle. It's 8. I counted it wrong. Kelsey, Laporta, Kincaid, McBride, Andrews, Pitts. No, I counted it right. It's 7. I just counted it twice because Andrews is here and he's over here. I want a top 7 tight end this season. So if I don't take Andrews here, I still have a chance to get Pitts and Kittle potentially in the next round. But I've also said I'm in love with Anthony Richardson. Stacking wise, I'm not afraid to do this. I sometimes get afraid in rounds 1 and 2 doing the stack because it's a lot of leverage there. You can just go all in and say, if Anthony Richardson stays healthy, now my round 4 and 5 pick both just like crushed, and that's great. Yeah, it is risky though, saying, well, if Anthony Richardson gets hurt, I lose my 5th round pick and my 4th round pick gets worse. So that kind of stinks. But I love Richardson this season. I think he has so much upside. He has the upside to be the number 1 scoring quarterback by a lot. Like per 4 quarters, he averages 29 points per game. I know it's a small sample size. Obviously, he is the type of player that could have 15 rushing touchdowns, have significant volume. Like he he just has so much upside this season. Great coaching staff. Going to lead the league probably in plays per game. They'll probably contend with the Browns, but like they'll be top 3 in plays per game. I love both of these picks. I think I'm going to go Andrews, though, just because I also love Burrow, Kyler, Dak, Jordan Love, and I think we'll have a chance to get one of them. And I'm a little scared that we've got 6 teams going around this turn here that have an opportunity to grab a tight end, and there's only 3 more tight ends that I like really would like to have on this team. So I think I'm going to take Andrews and then hope we can get a quarterback at the next pick. So let's do it. Let's take Andrews. We'll see what happens. Pitts does go off the board. Anthony Richardson goes off the board. Other than that, it's been a mix of running backs and wide receivers. And, okay. So Kittle did make it back to us. We can kind of note that, but again, I think there is a decent drop-off between Andrews and Kittle. Like, I do prefer Andrews by a decent amount. Burrow's still there. Where do I have Burrow? I actually have Kyler ahead of Burrow. I have Kyler at 602. We are at 608 right now. So Kyler's a strong pick, and then I have Burrow at 701. So wouldn't go Burrow. So Kyler is a potential. We'll look at running back. Running back is Stevenson, Najee, Zamir White, Brooks, but we can't really go to running back right now. We've invested too heavily in that to start. Wide receiver, we have some that we really like. So this is a spot where I really want to be attacking the wide receiver position. My rankings have it Ridley, Hollywood, Godwin. Rashid get taken? Reed got taken. Okay. Ridley, Hollywood, Godwin. I love that trio. I think they're all fantastic picks, and I would feel pretty bad leaving this range with the opportunity to grab them and not getting any of them. I think it is worth risking not getting Kyler here because we still have a few quarterbacks, and one of them will still be on the board for us. If we look at quote-unquote ADP for wide receiver, Ridley is the most likely to get drafted. I have Ridley at 168.3 points. I have Godwin. I have Marquise Brown at 167, so 1 point less. It's a 1 point drop for each, basically. You drop a point down from Ridley to Marquise Brown. You drop 2 points down from Marquise Brown into Godwin. So I would take Hollywood before. I'm just wondering if I should take Hollywood before Ridley. No, we should just take Ridley. I don't think the 2 point difference there is enough. If it was like a 7 gap in like their rankings for ADP, maybe I'd consider it, but let's take Ridley. Okay. We take Ridley. After us, Engram, Adunze, Burrow, Kyler. That's not great to see. Worthy, Stevenson, Love, and Williams. Okay. An interesting outcome for us. So an unfortunate one in the fact that we're going to have a brutal decision here. So we're going quarterback or wide receiver. Technically, we do have our flex filled, so this will be our first bench player. Dak is the only quarterback left in that top tier. If I do pull up the quarterback specific rankings, I have Dak Prescott at 708. We're at 705, so it's a slight reach. I don't have the next quarterback until 902 for Jaden Daniels. So we're probably looking at the 905 before we touch quarterback again, and we have a risk of running into what we had last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago. Oh, no, it was the live stream where people kind of just kept taking quarterbacks, and I was like, okay, we have to keep waiting and waiting and waiting. I think we ended up going with like Geno and Watson. We double dipped late. It was a 14-team league. But it was a situation where it was like we were kind of just missing out on quarterback. And I do want a high-end quarterback this season. I just don't want to force it. And I feel like taking Dak here is forcing it. I really like both Hollywood Brown and Chris Godwin, and getting 2 of the wide receivers I love, having lost out on wide receiver in those early rounds. I think it's important for us to get wide receiver here. So I think we do it. I think we take Hollywood. Yeah, I think it's just a better pick for us. There's someone's going to take Dak Prescott, but it is what it is. I think it's just worth taking that shot. Maybe someone won't, though. We basically have to fade this team here. Oh, they didn't take him, and okay. Well, that worked out beautifully. Excellent. So Dak is there. And now at 8-8, we're obviously taking Dak Prescott. If we weren't going to take Prescott, we would look back to running back. Maybe we could take Jalen Warren or Austin Eckler. Wide receiver, Deontay. Love Deontay this season. But it'd be Deontay. We could take a high upside shot on Christian Watson. We can go after JSN, but one of them might be there at the next pick. Okay. So we're going to take Dak. We're liking this. If Deontay fell to us here, we've won this league. Like, in my opinion, that's how it would end up going. He does not. He unfortunately goes to team 2. I love this build so far. Again, for those of you listening, the team now is in order: Bijan, Derrick Henry, Isaiah Pacheco. We went back to wide receiver, or went to wide receiver, going Pittman. Then Mark Andrews, Calvin Ridley, Hollywood Brown, Dak Prescott. So you got our starting lineup here. It's a very strong starting lineup. And now the rest of this draft, we're just figuring out some of these bench players. We'll grab defense in the final round, and we will get on out of here. Christian Watson is the only player I have starred to go for the next pick, and I wouldn't want any of those running backs, so we'll take Christian Watson. This is going fantastic, because what taking these 3 running backs allow us to do is attack wide receiver in a range that wide receiver is exceptionally strong. Pittman, Ridley, Hollywood, Watson. I can promise you there's going to be a bust in there. I can promise you there will be. But those are great picks. Christian Watson has significant upside this season. If he can figure out his injuries, he could emerge as their most valuable wide receiver on a great offense in the 9th round. Hollywood Brown could be, probably will be, the most valuable wide receiver on this Kansas City offense. If he's hitting deep, I mean, he could have, 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns this season in the 7th round. Calvin Ridley, great talent in the Jamar Chase role for one of the highest volume passing offenses in the NFL. Pittman, potentially the number 1 team in terms of plays and their clear number 1 wide receiver. Like, these are great wide receivers, and we have potentially 3 running back ones to throw on top of them. So we are creating a very high upside team here, and we've got Andrews and Dak Prescott on top of that. We will need to go back to running back at one time, but I love Curtis Samuel, and Curtis Samuel actually is in a tier of his own among these wide receivers. Curtis Samuel and, honestly, Palmer goes there. If we look at the running back position, take off these stars. It's not amazing, I'll be honest with you. But it's Chase Brown and Corum are probably the best 2 picks, but I think Curtis Samuel is just the play here. Curtis Samuel is going to be very involved in this Bills offense this season. I'll try and do this for you guys. He's going to be super involved in the Bills offense. He has been camp is basically just open, but he's being scheme touches as a running back. He's being lined up in the backfield and being thrown passes. Like, he's being used as like a feature weapon on this offense. I don't think Keon Coleman, again, I think he's mispriced as a, I'll do this so you guys can see it. Hold on. I think Keon Coleman is being mispriced or miscast as a X receiver. I think Curtis Samuel is probably going to be the most valuable wide receiver on this team. I really still love Dalton Kincaid, but Curtis Samuel is going to get a ton of touches this season on a good offense. He's a great pick. Okay, 4 more picks. Palmer's the only one left. Unfortunately, Corum, Zeke, Ford, and Chase Brown all come off the board. Wouldn't hate Charbonnet, though. Charbonnet is probably the play here. If we get an injury to Ken Walker, he's got great upside, but maybe his new coaching staff just likes him and they do more of a split. I think you go Charbonnet. You probably just flip-flop running back and wide receiver at this point. Because, again, taking these running backs, taking Bijan, Henry, and Pacheco early, that allows us to say we can take a back seat at running back because, we're pretty confident we got at least 2, right, every week from those 2. So we don't need to be spending these picks at running back. We can spend these picks just loading up on wide receiver and trying to figure out who our starting wide receiver is going to be and trying hitting on upside at that position. Still want to go Charbonnet, though, but we could literally leave this draft with no more running backs, knowing that we'd have free agency, we'd have the trade market. That wouldn't be a bad outcome for us. So I'll consider it, but I don't think we take one with this pick. I think we just keep attacking. Is there a good value? No. Good value at quarterback? No. So yeah, let's just keep hammering our favorite wide receivers. Cooks. No, Shaheed. I would say Shaheed, then Cooks. If Cooks is available at the next pick, that'd be great. Gabe Davis goes. Troy Franklin goes before Brandon Cooks. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, we'll go with Brandon Cooks. And then we'll just take a running back. This running back would be, because we are drafting this in late July, we're basically saying who's a running back that could, through injury, just like really elevate in value instead of taking our defense here. Obviously, defense, it would just be like go with the top defense in the rankings. It'd be Braylon Allen or Vidal. If you believed in Vidal, you take Vidal. I think Vidal. We'll go with him. But if you want to take Braylon Allen there, that too. Maybe Vidal has an epic couple weeks of camp. He emerges as the running back 1 for the Chargers. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but it's worth the upside in round 14 of a redraft league, because if it doesn't work, I cut him for whatever defense I would have picked. Okay, there's the team. Running backs. Bijan, Henry, Pacheco, Charbonnet, Vidal. Absolutely love that running back core, but I love the wide receivers as well. Pittman, Ridley, Hollywood, Watson, Samuel, Shaheed, Cooks. We are going to figure out wide receiver there. And honestly, at some point this season, we'll probably do a 2-for-1 trade. We'll probably be like, okay, Shaheed's had 2 great weeks in a row and Cooks has hit on touchdowns recently. Let's package both of them in for someone like Terry McLaurin. Like, I don't know. Like, again, it just totally depends on who's getting lucky and unlucky during the season. But we have upside here to package, 2 players to get an upgrade there. And then again, tight end was Mark Andrews and Dak Prescott was our quarterback. So I love the team. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. This type of build is not something we are going to see very often this season. People are very in love with wide receivers. But if it turns out that these 3 running backs, Bijan, Henry, Pacheco, hit the upside I think they could have this season, and we have 3 running back 1s, this is a significant ceiling that we've unlocked for this team. So again, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What would you have done differently? I'll catch you on the live stream tomorrow night, 6:30 Eastern. But if you watched this far, hit the like button. If you're new here, hit subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.